Hey, so today is Thursday, June 3rd, maybe. And I decided to make a video specifically for company parents because the information that I put out for the studio about Recital is I mean, a lot of it applies to y'all, but then some of like the dressing room information and stuff like that doesn't really apply. And these shows are so different than what we normally do. I didn't want y'all to go into it with any assumptions that were incorrect. And I figured it'd be easier to answer everybody's questions at the same time. So hopefully I answer your questions. And if not, just, reply to the email, or I'm going to post this on Facebook. You can comment below and we can, figure out to the best of our knowledge what the answers are. So a few general things first, and then I'm going to go through each show with kind of what to expect for different groups. So your arrival time is only 30 minutes before showtime. Normally, arrival time is an hour before, and then by 30 minutes before, we're supposed to have all the dancers just like sitting and ready, which only leaves us with about 10 minutes of downtime before the show. So I'm a little stressed about that arrival time. We are asking that all the dancers be completely dressed and ready for their first dance when they arrive. So for a lot of y'all, that's going to be a ballet dance. And so when you think about cover up, sorry, there's a fly. When you think about cover ups as you're coming in, think about something big so that tutu is completely protected from whatever is living in the seats of your car, which maybe your car isn't as dirty as mine, but I'm not interested in finding out what my kids have shoved in my car seats. If your dancer is only in one dance in the show, they are not going to be assigned a dressing room for that show. So they should just remain backstage and in their costume the entire time. And then for the next show, you'll move into a dressing room. Backstage dressing rooms. A lot of y'all probably haven't used these before because we didn't have a show last year. So there is the dressing rooms on the side like you're used to from years past and from competitions. It's either the choir room or the band hall or something. It's a nice big room. And that is where the Twinkle Stars and all of the rec classes will be dressing. And then for show H, the Rising Stars are in there as well. And anyone has the option to go in there. If you want to avoid the backstage dressing rooms, that's fine. The backstage dressing rooms are on the opposite side of the stage. They are only accessible from backstage and from outside. And they're small. So we assigned companies back there. I would say the less moms, the better back there because they are, I can't remember if, actually, I don't think Sci-Fair has given me the maximum occupancy back there. But I would say it's probably 6 people per dressing room. So, and that would just be the dancers. Moms would get us up to 12 people in the room. So the less moms, the better. But also there's a big hallway. I mean, not huge. There's a nice size hallway. And if there's no props and stuff back there, like y'all could put your dream duffels in the hallway and make some extra space. And you could, do hair and things in the hallway so that there's extra space if you prefer to use those rooms. When you come for rehearsal on whatever night next week, we can show you where that is and you can kind of make a decision about if you want to dress over there or not. So there's that. Okay, intermissions. We've never done intermissions before, but these shows are so short that there are fast changes for literally every dancer, including pre-K. So we stuck intermissions in there just to make it less stressful for moms to change the dancers and for the dancers themselves. Every show has at least one intermission, except if we can get away with not doing it in the encore, we're not going to have it. But then show D definitely has 2 intermissions, and show E might have 2 intermissions. We intentionally did not print the intermissions in the programs so that we can move them if we need to. So I know that there was that really organized schedule that Katie sent y'all yesterday. We did put the intermission in there so you kind of knew what to expect and so you wouldn't freak out, because I know some of your kids are in like the dance right before the intermission and the dance right after the intermission. Well, clearly in that show that has to stay there. But if we can get away with one less intermission in show E, or, you know, if something goes wrong, we might shift the intermission by a dance or something like that. So uh, don't worry if the intermission happens differently than you think it will. Just get backstage, get your dancer ready as fast as you can for their next dance, and we'll make sure that everybody's where they need to be and gets on stage when they need to. So, and those intermissions are going to be 10 minutes standard. And then in show E, if we have to use the second intermission, we're probably going to make that one 5 minutes. So awards this year are going to happen at the end of intermission instead of at the end of the show, because we are not doing a grand finale. So if in this email, I'm going to attach the list of awards, and it's going to go through each show and just lists by, you're going to have to really search. Actually, I think you can use the find function, and because I'm not going to send it in a PDF. I'm going to send it in a doc form. Just search for your kid's name to see which show they're getting their award in. I'm kind of going to go through that too, but not super specifically. So at the end of that intermission, the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to give awards, and then we'll go on and finish the rest of the dances. So we're not doing a grand finale this year. So at the end of the show, you're going to find your dancer in their dressing room, with the exception of, I don't know, it's somewhere in my notes. I think my year, the hip hop club competition routine ends one of the recitals. And since they're in the big dressing room, we're going to hold them on stage until the audience is done moving. So you can either find them on stage or wait until we take them back to the dressing room later. And then between shows, according to the protocols that I agreed to when I signed my contract with Sci-Fair, we have to completely clear the auditorium so that they can fog. I am going to be really honest with you and say that I don't think that Sci-Fair is going to I don't think they're actually going to follow all these protocols that they told us they're going to, because things have opened up so much and relaxed so much since that contract was signed. However, I can't get anyone to talk to me about new protocols. So I have to kind of plan for whatever they said. And then if things are a little more relaxed, that's just kind of, you know, a gift. So right now we have to completely clear the auditorium so that they can fog the auditorium. However, you can stay in the dressing room. So you do not have to like pack up your whole bag and move out in between each show. Especially on Friday, I think one show only has, well, the shows are real close together on Friday. So your dancer can stay in the dressing room, all their stuff can stay in the dressing room. We just have to clear the theater. Now, if they are not going to fog between the shows, I am not going to ask handicapped people to clear the auditorium. I am going to ask you to clear the auditorium, and the ushers are going to pick up whatever junk you leave behind in your seats to try to save seats for the next time. But if grandma doesn't have to move if you know she's using her walker or whatever, if they're not going to fog the auditorium, we'll let handicapped people stay in their seats. Okay, so going through the shows now. So Friday night, we start with show A. We gave you the wrong time. Sorry about that. In Katie's email yesterday, it said, well, I'm not going to tell you what it said. Your ticket says the show is at 5:30, and that is correct. We had to move that time early on, and I just forgot to correct it on the document I sent Katie. So you have a 5 o'clock call time, dressed and ready to dance. The Monday shooting star girls and their ballet dance, that's Bakita. They should be dressed and ready at 5 o'clock, and then the show starts at 5:30. The backstage dressing room is shooting stars and the girls that are in class with them. So like Janae and Carly and I don't know, whoever. Those kids can be backstage if they wish. And then we expect the end time to be, awards. We put very few awards in the show because we need it to move really fast. So there's a couple of kids who are only in show A that are getting awards in that show, but everybody else is getting in a later show. The end time is going to be 6:30, and we need to clear the auditorium really quickly from that show. So if they need to fog, they can do that. And show B, the auditorium opening may be delayed because I didn't put enough time between shows. So show B, your arrival time is 7 o'clock, again, dressed and ready to dance. The show is at 7:30, and it's the shooting stars and whoever's in class with them backstage. Most shooting stars are getting awards in this show unless they are also in show H, or they're in the same show as their sister at some point, and then they're probably getting an award later. We expect the end time to be 8:30 p.m. And after show B only, we do not have to clear the theater at all because the encore is technically not a separate show. So a few of y'all are have solos in the encore. It is all shooting star group dances, the big group dances anyways, and then just a few other soloists. I am almost positive we did not give the soloist tickets to the encore. We're also not taking tickets to the encore. Like, we're just not going to close the theater between these two. So you can get those from Emily, but it's not anything you need to worry about either. So if you have a soloist performing in show C, which is also the encore, you should arrive at 8:30, and we expect that to start at 8:45. In reality, we're just going to announce at the end of show B that it's going to start in 15 minutes. So that gives the non-company people time to clear out of the auditorium, and then we'll, get other people situated and get going. There are no awards in the encore. We're going to try for no intermission. We did find a fast change. I thought I fixed it. I didn't anyways. So depending on how fast that dancer changes, we may have a short break, but we're not going to do a full 10-minute intermission. And then we expect the end time of that to be 9:30 p.m. So that wraps up Friday night. Show D on Saturday morning. Call time is 8. Again, dressed and ready to dance. And the show time is 8:30 a.m. The backstage dressing room is going to be the Come So Far Rising Stars, and the couple of girls that are in technique with them. Yes, the awards in that show is most of the Madeline Twinkle Stars. We do have 2 intermissions in the show, and they are both necessary because we have kids in like the last dance and the next dance with both of those intermissions. So we will take 2 intermissions in that show. And the end time is 10 a.m. And My Year, the hip hop club dance, My Year, ends show D. So those kids will hold them on stage until the audience movement dies down in the hallway, or you can and then we'll take them back to their dressing room, or mom can come to the stage and we'll release your dancer that way. Okay, show E, 11 a.m. arrival time, call time. The show is at 11:30. The Come So Far Rising Stars are still backstage. The awards are most of the Come So Far Rising Stars for that show. And this is a show where we possibly have 2 intermissions, but we might just get away with 1. And we expect the end time to be sometime around 12:30, 12:45. It'll depend on if we take that second intermission or not. Show F, arrival time 2 o'clock, show time 2:30. Backstage dressing room is Good to Be Bad. The awards in that show is most of the I Will Survive Twinkles. And then we expect the end time to be 3:30. Show G is a 4:30 arrival time. And then showtime is at 5 o'clock. The backstage dressing room is the Troop Beverly Hills Rising Stars. And that's the show where they will get their awards, most of them as well. And then the end time for that show is 6. Now, going into show H, if you're in Good to Be Bad and Troop Beverly Hills, you've been backstage dressing for 2 shows. Show H is where the advanced classes and the seniors come in. So they take over the backstage dressing and you would have to move. So you may just want to start on the other side of the stage. That's totally up to you. Just think about that ahead of time. So the arrival time is 7 p.m. The show time is 7:30. Backstage dressing is the shooting stars and the advanced classes. And the awards in that show are mostly shooting stars and advanced I think everybody else, I think all other company members should have gotten their awards in earlier shows, except for a few of the shooting stars in this show. And then we expect that end time to be 8:30. So it's going to be a marathon weekend. I know some of y'all are lucky enough that you are spending several of y'all are spending all day Saturday with us, and there's one family I think is spending the entire weekend with us. So it's going to be fun. I hope that answered a lot of your questions. If you think of anything else, please either comment below or reply to the email, and we will make sure that y'all are all informed with everything you need. So that's it. Hope you have a good day. Bye.